soda. Give that a stay. Two names came to mind when I started thinking about tonight. One's Roger Federer, the other one's Jack Nicklaus. And you might say, why will we talk about them? Well, both of them are elite and outstanding performers in their field. Federer has won 19 major or Grand Slam events, and Nicklaus has won 18. Federer has lost 10, and Nicklaus finished second 19 times. So more times than he won, he finished second. So those guys, to me, epitomise what we face, is that failing is okay. It's okay to lose. It's part of the journey, if you like. It builds learnings, teachings, and character. And so, importantly, they go back to work, they accept that they've lost for a reason, they adapt, but most importantly, they put themselves back out there. And both those gentlemen have had outstanding careers. One continues to have it this season. The year. 2017, when I stood here last year, I spoke about our need to get better and our drive to get better. And to the players' credit and the coaches' credit, we went to work and we got better. So there's a lot of positives I take from the season. Improvement was across all the areas. So when I speak about our game plan and I speak about the phases of the game, our ability to improve in the contest is well regarded in terms of our numbers, and we presented some of those to the players today around contested possession, our area work and our tackling. Our team defence, we tightened up our team defence, knocked a goal off scores against, conceding less inside 50s. And our Crows ball continued to be one of our strengths. Our ability to move the ball is probably the envy of a lot of teams in the competition, and we added other layers to our Crows ball to enable us to get the result we got. Our squad developed and matured. So the time we spent on mental and leadership in that space was vital, and we built relationships with people. We continued to challenge people and reward people in the environment to allow them to grow and develop and mature, which results in the performance we're capable of putting onto the field. Our individuals got better. We've just gone through a day and a half of exit interviews with most of our squad, and most guys will reflect that they're better players now than they were at the start of the year. And ultimately, that's what we're about. If we look at our trademark is to continue, from a coaching viewpoint, to give our players to be the opportunity to be the best they can be, both individually and collectively. And so we saw that growth, and you would have seen that growth in a lot of our players, which allowed us, as Chappie said, to finish on top and to ultimately make a grand final. So on reflection on the season, as much as we can talk, and I will in a moment, about what happened on the weekend, we're a better team than we were in 2016. And now our challenge is that we need to continue to improve to make sure that we get better again for 2018, and that we will. In terms of some thank yous, because what we see on the weekend or throughout the season is a result of a lot of work done by a lot of people and a fair bit of sacrifice. So I've got a number of people I want to thank, so bear with me here as I go through them. Firstly, to my wife and my daughters and my family. I've got my brother here tonight, which is great to have him here. Thank you for your support. The job of an AFL senior coach is not without its demands and not without its pressures, and my wife supports me wholeheartedly in that. At times, I think she said to me last night, it was like talking to a brick. So hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, the brick can loosen up a little bit and maybe enjoy a few more chats. But to her, she's been a fantastic support, and with people like that behind you, it makes doing what I do a lot easier. To our coaches, and I'll name them. Thank you. To our coaches, who I'll name in Scott Camprioli, James Podsiadley, Matthew Clark, David Teague, Tate Casler and Heath Uni, along with our development coaches Ryan O'Keefe, Paul Thomas and Nathan Van Berlo. These guys put an enormous amount of time and effort into the footy club and into their passion, which is footy, and their wives and families. They do not so much, I wouldn't say suffer, but they certainly tolerate their passion and their involvement in the game. Thank you for all your efforts and energy throughout the year. What we see on the weekend is a result of a lot of people's efforts, and these guys do a fantastic job with our playing group, again, working with them to give them the chance to perform and do very well. So to those guys, I can't thank you enough. Thank you very much. Our analysts are important, the guys who spend a lot of time cutting data, cutting tape and reviewing footage and statistics and so forth. Those guys are great. High performance, Matty Hass and his team. There'll be our doctors, our physios and our trainers. Our recruitment and welfare people, so Justin Reid, Hamish Ogilvie, Emma Barr, looking after the players, bringing in the talent, identifying it and giving us the opportunity from coaching viewpoint to really work with high quality individuals. And that's not to be underestimated. We deal with 45 individuals in our footy department as players, and they all come to us with great skill and great potential. And so working with them, but they also come with life things that deal. And our game is what we see on the weekend. But our players, as you've seen throughout this season, they deal with a whole range of other things and emotions outside of it. So to our welfare people, thank you very much for the time you put in. To the executive and Andrew Fagan and Brett Burton in particular, who I work closely with, thank you for your support, your guidance throughout the season. To our board and Rob Chapman and Mark Rashuda, I did get a bit worried earlier this week when Chappie told me he had the full support of the board. That's generally not something you want to hear as a senior coach. Leads to one thing, but that's all right. Thank you to those guys. I mean, we don't get significant input from the board. We get some questions along the way, but they're fully supportive of what we do. We picked up the team, took them to Gold Coast for a break, and there was no questions about the why and the cost and all those sorts of things. It was, if you think that's the best thing to do for us to prepare to play, let's do it. So thank you to the board for their support. A number of consultants who help out throughout the year. We've got Steve, Daniel, Amon and Derek, as well as Paula, who does some work in the mindful space. To all those guys who have input into our program, it's valued. Appreciate it greatly, as well as your advice from a mentoring viewpoint. To all of our staff, and I say all of our staff, not just the footy department staff. It was probably noticeable last week when we in a week turned around the grand final, but to pick up the entire footy club and move them to Melbourne with ticketing, hotels, accommodation, flights, the whole shebang. It's a significant effort, and to Kylie, to Maria, the two Anns and Phil Harper, who did a mountain of work to basically make it as easy for us as a footy team and a footy club to get across to Melbourne and look after all of our family, friends. A huge thank you, so well done. And by no means last, to our players, a massive thank you from me to Tex, to Rory as the captain and vice captain of the club, and to our leadership group. Greatly appreciate your friendship, your input into the club, the direction we're taking, as to how we're going about it. To their partners and wives and families, a massive thank you. The life of an AFL footballer has its upsides, but also has its other sides, and to those ladies who support their men, I truly appreciate it, because of the fact you're allowing them and giving them the opportunity to chase their dreams, which is ultimately what we're about. To one individual in particular, and Scott Thompson, who's retiring and has retired. He's been a fantastic servant of our footy club and a true warrior, and someone which has set an example which I know lives on in the players, and we see that in the development of some of the guys we've got going through the midfield. They've learnt off a guy who has been there for 15 years and has basically achieved a lot in the game of footy. So to Tom, I wish you all the best in the future, and well done. Thank you for what you've done for our footy club. And finally, to the thank yous is to our sponsors, our members and our supporters. Fantastic group, the supporters. It was great to come back to Adelaide last week. We were delayed by about 2 hours in Adelaide through some sort of urgent stuff-up, but we got back eventually. And to see the people who were at Adelaide Oval who'd waited patiently for 3 hours gives you a real feel for the impact what we have, or what we do, has on the community. We hadn't won a game of footy, but they were there en masse to support us. And to get behind the side and to show the passion and loyalty which we know and we've appreciated for the whole year. So to all those people, they're vital to what we do, and thank you very much. So the weekend, an opportunity lost. We did a lot of work this year and created a great opportunity as a footy club. Now, unfortunately, on the weekend, we didn't take that opportunity, and that's with us. In talking to the players today and through the last couple of days, there's a range of emotions, but words such as gutted, devastated, angry, frustrated, disappointed sit right on the tip of their lips, and that's to be expected. we had an opportunity, we didn't play to our level, and we let ourselves down in terms of what we were capable of producing and the sort of football we'd played throughout the year. So we fell at the final hurdle, but as disappointing as that is, it's where to from here. And it'll take some time, and I know it's going to take me some time, and I'm sure it'll take some of the players some time, and they'll all do it in their own way to deal with the disappointment of what happened on the weekend. But the reality in this game is you dust yourself off, we'll learn our lessons, we'll work hard, and we'll drive our way back on that road to get back here again next year. And that's what's required. There's no other real choice. As I mentioned on Saturday night at the post-game function, going back a fair time now, but in 1991 I was part of a West Coast side which finished the season 19 wins and 3 losses and lost the grand final. The following year we came back and won in 1992. And the difference was that through 91 we learned a lot about ourselves as individuals, having gone to there and found that we weren't on that particular day good enough, and the resolve that built in the group led to us winning in 92. So it's important now we sit back and say, we've had a lot of positives in the season. We've made progress. Unfortunately, we came up short. Now that's life and that's sport, and that's what happens. But if we sit here and accept that making a grand final is what it's about, we won't win one. So the reality of what we face, and I know the players understand this, is we get back to work with a view that next year we go one better, and next year we give ourselves another opportunity, and history will tell me, you keep banging on the door and you keep doing it with the right resolve, it will open. So as Rob said up front, we won't let the loss define us. We'll use it as a learning opportunity. We'll use it as a way to reflect and understand what we need to do going into the future. I'm going to throw a Japanese proverb at you now. Nana karobi ya oki. Nana karobi ya oki. Which means fall 7 times, get up 8. Now this club has great resilience. It's sort of in our DNA, if you like. So we've suffered some adversity, and the weekend was another example. But we'll get up, and we'll keep going, and we'll get back there. Before I finish up, I'd like to read you a card that I received this week. One of a number, to be honest, from a member, a supporter. It says as follows: Dear Don and team, over the past 3 years I have lost a beloved sister and brother, and another sister has rapid onset dementia and is now in care. As a result, I've had to sell 2 loved homes and sadly rehome their beautiful dog. Over the last 2 years in particular, coming to your games at Adelaide Oval has been full of joyful, silly and exciting moments, and has helped me cope with the grief and responsibilities I've had to bear. While losing the grand final feels huge now, I want you to know that you're achieving other things you may not even be aware of, and I'm sure it's just not me. So we look forward to 2018, more excitement, cheering, laughter and tears. And I say thank you for 2017. It has been great. We fly as one. So in summary, I too look forward to 2018. I've got great belief and trust in everyone in this room. And we'll be back. Thank you.